Welcome everybody to episode 123 of the China Show, formerly known as ADV Podcasts.
1, 2, 3. What's up, Beijing?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
我在北京.
So we have an interesting one for you today. A couple of heavy topics, a couple of light-hearted ones. Hopefully it'll be pretty balanced. We'll find out as we go along. But let's just saunter right into it with What's New. And What's New is our segment where we tell you, well, what's new in China, specifically, well, with regards to China.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do we got that's new? Let me bring this up here and bring up our little media pack for us so that we can figure it all out.
Whoa. London Bridge. That's right.
Yeah.
So everybody's been talking about the whole real estate collapse in China. It's a massive issue.
Absolutely.
They're getting rid of a lot of the buildings that were in these ghost cities. And do you know what they're doing that for? It's to make way for new properties that they're going to develop.
You know, this is awful. This is a very... We'll just show this in the background so you can see what we're talking about here. But you got buildings being demolished that have not yet been finished.
No.
So no, usually when you see this kind of thing happening, like a building being demolished, the whole idea is that it's unsafe to live in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been there for a long time and no longer habitable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they condemn the building and then they knock it down. But these buildings haven't even been completed yet and they're being knocked down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons for this. Some of them, yes, were deemed unsafe after an inspection, which I'll be honest with you, I think a vast amount of Chinese buildings, if they're properly inspected, would be deemed unsafe.
Yeah, I mean, the building that I moved into was brand new and it was crumbling.
It was cracking, the elevator crashed down,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But the main reason is China's economic engine, a big part of it is this whole getting investment in for new properties, get all the money in and then you build, right?
Yeah.
So, that's very much not related. Let me go back.
If you're an Imagine Dragons fan, a Minions fan, you'll be very pumped.
Yeah, one of the two. So the fact of the matter is what's going on in the background here is they're clearing off these ones, which presumably they already sold to people.
Yes.
Because, there is one thing that these real estate developers do, is they get you to buy a property, and they say you're going to get a property in our new building. And let's just say they sell all the units out, and the building kind of stalls. It's not finished being built yet. So what they'll do is, to keep the people happy, is they'll be like, don't worry, we'll offer you a more expensive unit in our new building that we're going to build. We're going to knock this one down. It didn't get finished, but don't worry, you'll get a bigger apartment or a apartment that's worth more in the new one that we're going to build. And then they get a whole bunch of new investment because the new project they're going to build has more buildings in it. So then they can get a whole bunch of investment money in again to build something new. And, they're keeping everyone on the line. And basically they're doing this so that they can get more money to try and complete other things they haven't completed yet. It's a crazy Ponzi scheme, We
built this city on tofu dregs.
Yeah. Look, it's ridiculous. Anyone with half a brain who sees what's going on here would know that investing in real estate in China is a very big mistake.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is propping up the next guy, the guy above you, the previous guy. You're just a sucker.
Just hope that you're not the last guy.
Yeah, you just don't want to be that guy when it all goes down.
Yeah, take our word for it. We were there during, the bubble. And I owned a property in China during the bubble. Thank God I managed to get rid of it with the help of family members and stuff, because pretty sure that property's almost worthless now.
Yeah.
And especially in these areas, we saw it happen over the past couple of years, but watched it like a domino effect. There was coastal areas in eastern China that got hit and the bubble popped already. And then everyone's like, that's just over there. That's not going to affect me. Mm-hmm. Right. And unfortunately, it does catch up with these people, and they're seeing what happens when a Ponzi scheme is the entire real estate industry.
It is the whole thing. And that's why we've had this recent thing where people are boycotting paying off their loans.
That's right.
Because it's a stupid idea, but what people have been doing is they've been paying monthly a mortgage for an apartment that hasn't been built yet.
Right.
Imagine doing that.
It's kind of like NFTs.
It is.
Sorry for NFT lovers.
No, but just imagine doing that. Okay, because when you buy a house, say you take out a loan to buy a house in whatever country, you actually get the house.
Right.
And you can live in it while you're paying it off. But here you're like still paying off this huge loan and it's expensive and the stuff's not even built yet.
My deepest apologies for all the NFT lovers out there. But
Yeah.
we're such boomers about NFTs. When we sold our NFT, we actually included the real painting with it.
Yeah, of course.
Which
We couldn't handle
defeats the
it.
purpose.
Yeah, we couldn't handle
You just
that
got a
idea.
painting. Yeah.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is this is going on. That's something new. So if you've seen those doing the rounds, it's true. This does happen in China.
Money for nothing, am I right?
Yeah, for sure.
Build the city on tofu dregs.
Dregs, yeah.
By the way, if you hear tofu dregs, we don't know why people are saying that. We've talked about this before. Stop saying tofu dregs. It sounds weird in English.
Yeah, just say tofu buildings.
Tofu, yeah. I mean, tofu lo, as we say in Chinese.
Yeah.
Tofu buildings, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what's this about Minions? I know Minions is your forte. It really is.
Huge. I'm a huge Minion.
Yeah.
Huge Minion lover. I'll be honest with you. Never actually seen a Minions movie. Are they called Incredibles or something?
No,
right?
Despicable Me.
Oh, Despicable Me. Bull. It's got bull in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always mix up Incredibles with Despicable Me. I don't really watch those types of movies. But
Okay.
I like Pixar stuff, but I don't think that's Pixar, right?
I think it might be.
Oh no,
This is
Pixar makes the good stuff.
Yeah, it could be DreamWorks or something.
Like Pixar movies are badass. They're like really good pieces. I like Disney stuff. I like.
Yeah,
but
it probably is though.
Don't make me look it up.
Look it up. It probably is.
No, it's too low class for that.
It's gonna be what you don't like.
Despicable Me. Despicable Me. Oh, it didn't even get great reviews. I'm surprised. Universal Pictures. I was right.
All right.
Anyway, that's not the point.
Okay, what is the point?
The point of Despicable Me and this needless argument you've created about who makes it.
Sure.
You're the Minion lover.
I don't like Minions.
I think you've seen it and I haven't.
I saw Despicable Me. I watched it with my wife.
There you go.
Like in China.
And did you love it?
No.
Okay. Well, you're not a Minion lover then.
No.
Anyway, Minion lovers will be very disappointed to find out that
Someone's gonna find a Minions bumper sticker on their car soon. And you won't know when. You'll be like,
I have this weird, you guys, I'm the wrong one because it's obviously very popular. I've talked about this before. I have this weird hang up about Minions and Imagine Dragons. It repulses me to the point of wanting to vomit.
They go
I
together,
don't know
though.
why. They just really do.
yeah. Anyway, so get to the point, please. What's going on with the Minions?
Minions, there's a new movie called Rise of Gru. And I
Okay.
guess Gru is like that guy with a ball head
Yeah,
and a
he's
sharp nose.
He's
villain.
the villain. Yeah.
So what happened is it's his kind of coming up story. It's like, how did he become a bad guy story? Because I guess some childhood trauma happened and made him a villain, right?
Okay.
So this is the story about Gru's childhood.
I see.
I could, unfortunately, because I haven't seen Minions, I don't know how the yellow Minion things come into play.
I don't know either. They're his minions.
They're his.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, he has these minions, right? The whole point of this, though, is that China, because Hollywood's not capitulating to China anymore, right? What they're doing is they have to go back to the old days where they change the movie for the domestic audience. Not Hollywood. China does.
Sure.
China has like post-production facilities that do this. And what they did was, you can show the next picture.
Okay, the next picture's coming up.
What they did
It's
for the
fascinating.
ending of this is they had to change it. And the reason is that Gru is a bad guy. So this is like an antagonist.
Okay.
Right? He's the main character. You're supposed to be cheering for him at the same time, but he's also a bad guy.
Sure.
So in the main, not to spoil the movie, but obviously Gru becomes a villain because that's the point of Minions.
Yeah.
Is that Gru in the rest of the films as an adult is the bad guy.
Yes.
Right? China can't have a bad guy win.
No.
That it goes against whatever communist ideology that they're trying to push. Like the bad guys cannot have the spotlight or whatever. So it doesn't make any sense. So what they did was they actually take us out of there.
Yeah.
They changed the subtitle at the end and made like a really cheap crap ending.
Okay.
Where it says Gru eventually became one of the good guys.
Nice. Yeah, remember they did that with what's that, Fight Club?
Yes,
Remember they
yes.
changed the ending of Fight Club that he got arrested or
Yeah,
whatever.
I covered
and-
that on my channel.
Yeah.
So in this one, also apparently his cohort, his like friend or whatever, he also like becomes like a good father figure or something.
Oh, what's this nonsense? That's not anything to do with it. No. Okay, but yeah, they just changed it in order to fit the narrative in China. It's interesting how they change things, and I'm totally happy with them changing that if they want to, as long as they don't force Hollywood or whoever's making the
Yes.
movie to change it for the rest of the world like they've been doing in the past.
Right. So I did want to say...
Why am I not seeing a 9-dash line, by the way? Can you see a 9-dash line?
No, and there's a reason for that.
And what's that?
Because Hollywood stopped capitulating to China.
But they aired this in China. I wouldn't think they would air it
think
without a 9-dash line. Maybe there is one there. It's just very faint.
Yeah, maybe it's blurry enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I did want to say was that this is a good trend to see that it's not getting censored first. And I did want to say something else. So I perused the Chinese internet to see what people were talking about, because this did kind of leak out there.
Yeah.
And people were discussing, hey, how come we got a different ending? And this screenshot was going around. So I was reading some Chinese comments, and my favorite one was, I don't care if it was kind of implied, our government censors this for us, but at least put some effort into making the ending different instead of just changing the subtitle.
Sure.
The guy thought it was just so lazy, you know?
Yeah.
It is.
It is lazy, absolutely. Right, so we're going to move on to this little, I guess it's a Shamata meme from our subreddit. Guys, for those of you who don't know, we have a subreddit. Please feel free to go and join the community there. It's, reddit.com/r/ADVChina. It's good fun. And what's going on with this?
This guy says, I dreamed I was partying with a group of Shamata last night, and I woke up blessed with the hair. So he woke up with the Shamata hair, and I love the 我不是马桶盖,
Yeah,
马桶盖.
Yeah,
I'm not a toilet
Yeah.
seat. It's got a praying anime dude.
yeah, that's good.
He's just got he got the correct vibe.
Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah.
Like I said, join us. It's a fun little community. And we keep discovering interesting things.
Yes.
Like that fake tractor and all of that. Okay,
Sure.
now something a little more serious.
Yes.
The Chinese government murdered people's pets.
Yeah.
Lots of them. In the beginning of the COVID outbreak,
Yes.
they were finding all sorts of reasons to blame everything for COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, they blamed seafood, imported seafood. They blamed just the dirt. They're doing stupid things. You've all seen how they've been spraying disinfectant on everything. They've been testing truck tires with those little swabs and
Yes.
testing everything for COVID. And one of the big things was that pets are going to carry COVID around. Okay, that's one thing they said.
These governments put this out.
Yeah, the governments did it. So the government ordered culling of pets in certain places around China, even in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So even the most sophisticated city in China, they were killing people's pets. There was a lot of that. One of the worst parts is that if you were infected with COVID, you'd be taken off to a quarantine facility, okay? And then the stormtroopers would come into your house to quarantine your house and spray chemicals, but they would also murder your pet.
Yeah.
So if you had a dog or a
added
cat,
bonus.
yeah, they would just beat your pet to death.
Yeah, as you can see on the right.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to show the footage, but
this is pre-beat.
yeah.
And maybe it didn't happen, YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it absolutely did. But the thing is, they ended up beating a lot of people's pets to death, little lap dogs, cats, you name it, right?
Yes.
Of course, this was horrendous. Because if you're a pet owner, you know how important pets are. They're part of the family. But this was going on around China in some of the smaller, more rural areas. It was just wholesale, go cull all pets everywhere, all dogs. Doesn't matter, people have them on a leash, walking them, go kill them there. So it was pretty bad. But now, all of a sudden, the government has released a little statement. And what is that?
It says 宠物不传播新冠病毒. So this means pets don't transmit coronavirus. And that is the richest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The government is now gaslighting people and saying, like, don't kill your pet because they don't transmit coronavirus.
Yeah.
The government's the one that did it.
The government is who killed the pets.
Yeah.
So again,
it says 善待动物尊重生命, so like take care of your pets.
Yeah,
the
take care
pets'
of your pet.
lives,
Yeah.
right?
it's disgusting. They always do this. They do something terrible and then they act innocent as if they didn't do it. And they're like, no, that's terrible. Anyone who does this is not good. So, bullshit. Chinese government trying to pretend as if they didn't just kill everyone's dogs and cats.
Sorry for murdering your pet.
Yeah. Well, they don't say sorry for murdering your pet.
They say, don't you do it.
Yeah. They murder your pet, then they say, don't murder your pet.
Don't do it. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're doing there.
Yeah. Okay. Some
news.
Big news. Our Ongerwarm T-shirts are ready. We're working on the patches too.
That's next.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an update.
right.
The Ongerwarm merch is available for 17 days now.
Yeah.
It just started the other day. We got it live. We worked with a company. It's not fast fashion. It's very high quality T-shirts produced in England.
Yes, sustainable, all that.
Yeah, the stuff that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's vegan or not, but it probably
It's definitely vegan if it's this company. Trust me.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
so it's made out of non-wool.
yeah, it's not wool.
Oh, it's not. Oh, cotton.
You wear a wool T-shirt?
I guess not.
What world
Wait.
are you living in?
Isn't cotton organic?
Yeah. So what does it have to do with vegans? Cotton's a plant.
Yeah, I hear that plant scream. Anyway, let's carry on.
Anyway, it's not Xinjiang cotton.
No, it's not.
Sure. So this is Ongerwarm merch. Remember, this is completely crowdsourced. One of you guys out there did a great design. You won the contest. You got your payment. Now we're going live with the design.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
will
very
forever
limited
be
time.
immortalized as the Ongerwarm designer.
But you can only get it now. It's only for the next couple.
Yeah,
weeks
it's limited run.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a part of this, be a part of this. And for those of you who don't know, when Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan, there was this little ragtag band of Unification Party, which is this ridiculous pro CCP, very small amount of people. Yeah. They got together to do this token protest, which was obviously paid for by the Chinese government and this Unification Party.
Yeah.
And they put up signs, and they couldn't even spell the English signs right. So instead of saying warmonger Pelosi, it was like Ongerwarm Osipel, because they got it mixed up.
Yeah.
So this is a way to make a jab at the Chinese Communist Party for not being able to protest properly. I guess because protests aren't allowed, so they don't really know how it works. Sure. And also, it's fun. It's a part of the whole thing. So
right, and it's a great design.
Yeah.
I do want to say this is made out of cotton.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me find that.
Okay. So just wanted to give a plug to the material used for the shirt.
Absolutely. Excellent stuff.
2 rubles. It does not cost 2 rubles, by the way.
No.
So the next update on the merch side of things, the Ongerwarm patch is being created now. I just submitted a design. I had to work together with a company who had to unlock some feature of our merch store. And now I guess they've taken our submission, so we're moving forward with that.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a minimum order, so once it goes live, we'll see if enough people order it. And
I think they will.
And then it'll be made. This will be fantastic. I'm definitely going to put this on my motorcycle jacket.
For sure. Everyone's going ape about your wool T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, wool shirt. It's like a hair shirt or whatever. Yeah.
Imagine a wool T-shirt.
It'd be pretty bad.
No wool, unsubscribe.
By the way, we had a fantastic submission, art submission. We love this. Remember we told everyone last week what a silang is, which a color wolf is. It's a pervert in Chinese. It's the same as calling someone a pervert. Yeah. And it can be in a funny way. It could also be in like a serious way, you know. And so we got this fantastic design in a very traditional art style. And you can see a color wolf sort of perving over a pretty woman over there. And
I think this is amazing.
It's great. Yeah, we will hopefully in the future we're going to work something out to maybe make some posters or something.
I think we should absolutely not in the future. Let's do it soon.
Yeah, soon.
Let's just do it real soon.
It's fantastic. We'll reach out to the artist and figure something out.
Yeah, I just wanted to read his.
Yeah, please read what he had to say.
He said, "I can't support ADVChina on Patreon, so I'll do it my own way. I deeply apologize for the lack of finance to donate to the cause. I'm a art school teacher in a developing country, and I strongly respect the bravery and moral integrity of Serpenzade and Sea Milk. I felt inspired the last episode and waited 1 week to see if there were any takers on the Silang concept. I'm the first to submit, and I want to have a good impression on this, leave a good impression on this community for my first post. Please feel free to criticize my work." Well, I'm not going to criticize it. I'm going to say it's freaking amazing.
It's brilliant.
I love the sea milk in the bottom right,
and the Serpenzade on the left. It's fantastic. It's very well drawn. It's beautifully drawn. It's a wonderful design. Thank you very much. And it's also very much a good inside joke and part of the whole community, which we love.
Definitely will do posters for this.
You know, there's another thing about color. Just I wanted just to put it out there because it's interesting to understand little bits of Chinese. But there's one thing that I found quite interesting is like when someone's really angry with someone, it could be in a joking way as well. They say, "Well, geni yensa kankan." It just means I will give you color CC. And I was always like, what the hell does that even mean? I will give you color CC. But it means like they're going to punch you so you bleed. And you'll be able to see color. In other words, blood. So it's just another one of those color-related, what would you call that anyway? Like idioms. Yeah, I'm pretty good with idiom. I like idioms a lot, Chinese idioms. All right, let's get back to it.
You idiom.
Yeah, you idiom. Oh, by the way, guys, I did actually do a thing. I did a thing.
You don't wait for
I did a thing.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Let's put some distance between.
Yeah, we'll
that
put some
one,
distance
just in case.
Guys, by the way, we have to explain to you.
That's coming up.
Yeah, oh, you do have it in here. We have to explain to you why our video was so messed up last week.
We will in a sec.
Guys, all right. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. This Daiso brand, I've seen it in America. They do have it here.
Yeah.
It's like a little.
I used to see it in LA.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little Japanese shop where you can buy cheap but cool things.
Yeah.
You know, buy whatever little fridge magnets, and you can buy little Japanese snacks.
My daughter used to like to go there and buy little things. She loves the little Japanese knickknacks.
Little toys, little dishes, and plastic flower pots, and it's kind of like a Dollar General, but for or 99-cent store, or something, but for Japan.
It's like a dollar store for Japan.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool, a little bit exotic. And then there's this other store called Muji,
which is much higher end.
It's much higher end, same kind of thing, but now you can buy like tablecloths and you can buy shirts
and snacks, things like that. But it's like definitely like more of an artisanal thing.
Yes. And then you get Uniqlo, which, by the way, I would like everybody to pay attention to the design language here. It's very important. You can see on the left is a square, and it's got katakana in there. It says Unikuro. All right. And on the right side, it says Uniqlo. And this is like a clothing store, a Japanese clothing store that you get in Japan.
So but it's a middle to lower end clothing store.
Yeah, it's kind of like H&M.
Yes,
it's like
exactly like H&M.
And I used to go to this place in China to buy jeans and stuff, because you get pretty good stuff and it's reasonably priced. So it's not cheap, it's not expensive, it's somewhere in the middle. It's like H&M.
It's good middle.
Yeah. So that's Uniqlo. Now, a Chinese company did what Chinese companies do best in China, and they kind of made a knockoff of all three of these things.
Miniso.
Yeah, Miniso. Now take a look. See the design language. It's got two squares. One's got the Roman characters, and one's got katakana. This is like Mei So. Okay, so it doesn't even say Miniso. They couldn't even get that right. This is Mei So. But okay, I'll rewind just a second. Take a look at that logo up there, and then take a look at the Uniqlo logo. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Miniso.
But it's interesting. What they did, and I remember this fooled a lot of people. A lot of the Chinese people I knew, and a lot of the expats and stuff in China, thought this was a Japanese store.
Yes.
So what they did was they created something similar to Daiso.
Yes. So
cheap, very cheap little things. You can go buy cheap USB cables and cheap earphones and then slippers and whatever else. But, they try to choose kind of cool looking brands.
Yes.
Slightly higher end looking, but cheap, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So they made this store called Miniso, and it's a chain store, and it took off like crazy. It's in the US as well? Oh, I didn't know that. But it took off like crazy in China, and you started to see it everywhere in the big cities.
Yeah.
And people love to go shopping there. Again, you can get little snacks, little things. You buy thermos or whatever, and it's cheap, right? That was the whole point, is that it's cheap but fairly good quality.
Yeah.
And it's just a knockoff of similar Japanese stores, like we showed you.
Yeah.
The design language is a knockoff. Everything's a knockoff. A lot of people were fooled into thinking it was Japanese. And would just go buying stuff thinking that they're getting something of higher quality.
When I first saw it, I thought it was Japanese.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because, I can read Japanese. I can read katakana. I read that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It must be Japanese. Go in there. They've got some very Japanese-looking stuff.
Yeah.
You buy the things. Seems cool. Anyway,
Don't use the Japanese Japan. Don't use that.
Oh, why not?
Some people are getting blocked.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Really?
4 people now have said that.
What, blocked already?
Yeah.
How's that even
possible?
possible?
Probably within their country for copyright.
No, that's not correct.
Keep your eye on it.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on it. Anyway.
Maybe just be sparing with that one, I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll be super sparing. We use it once. They can't knock you for like a 1-second clip.
I know, but they can until you fight it.
Right, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened now is there's been a lot of backlash against this company. And why do you think the backlash is? Do you think it's because they knocked off well-known brands, try to copy them?
Well, you'd think, right?
No.
So here's what happened.
Okay.
There was big backlash, and Miniso is apologizing for their Japanese imagery, their Japanese flair here. Now, you'd think that means they're apologizing because they've been caught copying. No, there has been absolutely zero apology for copying anything.
Yeah.
What they're apologizing to are their Chinese customers for saying that, I'm sorry, we use Japanese imagery and theme because
Yes.
we are a Chinese brand and we are proud to be Chinese.
Yes.
So they're apologizing for not trying to rip off Japan, for trying to look Japanese because they're supposed to hate Japan.
Yes.
That's how pathetic this is.
It is. It's super pathetic.
Oh my gosh,
So, yeah.
a lot of people are saying, I didn't know Miniso was Chinese.
Yeah, it is. It's Chinese. So the fact of the matter is they're now going to be changing their design language and everything.
Yeah.
Because, well, they'll probably just take the katakana out.
Sure, for sure.
Excuse me, I thought I'd muted everything. Obviously
Shut the window on your way back.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Wuma in the chat. We got mad Wuma in the chat. And there's a reason for that. No, I meant that.
You meant that one?
The window, like the actual window.
Oh, the window's open.
Yeah. It's
Oh, yeah.
super hot. Anyway, so as I was saying, yes, Miniso is a copy of Japanese stuff, but again, they're not apologizing for that. There was a big backlash because recently nationalism has really spiked.
Yeah.
And so when nationalism spikes, people are find little things to pick on. They do this with Korea, they did this with American stuff, it's just Japanese stuff all the time. For sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of pathetic, but China's in this very weird place where they have been taught to hate Japan, as we spoke about in our last week's episode, which completely got us banned, of course. But again, this is why we got to show you this. They've been taught to hate Japan, but at the same time, they kind of worship Japan. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
They put a lot more stock in the quality of Japanese products for a good reason, because Japanese products are superior to Chinese products. I don't care what anyone says. It's just a fact. If you buy a Sony product versus a Xiaomi product, the Sony product is going to be better.
Yes.
Okay. If you buy anything that's imported in China is always seen by the local populace, even when it isn't true, it's seen as being of better quality.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So,
Miniso.
this is kind of an embarrassing thing that we're showing you here. And there's a reason we're showing you this. So let's play it, and then we'll explain what's going on. Okay? Let me get back there. Turn this volume down so it's not too loud. We're going to explain what this woman is saying and why it's so cringe. It's very cringe. So let's play it. Here it comes. Oh, why is there no audio? Give me a second. Again, it's doing something funny here.
Lightseeker says, should we be worried about the Yangtze virus? No, you should not. Dylan Vienna says, hey lads, doesn't it seem stupid that wolf wankers are posting tourism videos on Twitter when nobody can go to China anyway? That is funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I know it's a ruse, but everyone knows you can't go. Yeah, they're trying to open things back up in some sort of fashion. It's a little too late, though.
Yeah.
I have it on, Shays says, I have it on good authority that China will collapse in 11 minutes. That's good stuff. CDX Greed 420 says, thanks for keeping it real. Thank you very much. David Brooks says, guys, do I have your permission to find someone and put laxative pills in their tea?
What?
Or, I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
Or Viagra pills instead. Stay awesome. You do not have our permission for that. But hey, dude, you do you.
You do you. I think it might work now. Let's try.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Apologies for that, guys. We're always having technical issues here. That's what happens when you run everything yourself.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to play this and we're going to explain what's going on. First of all, there's a woman, for those of you who can't see this, fairly attractive young woman sitting on a bed, and she is holding, not in a suggestive way or anything, okay? She's just sitting on a bed.
For you listeners.
And she's holding a sign. 我想有中国朋友.
Yeah.
Which kind of means I want Chinese friends.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's play it out. Listen to this.
后，我叫优美子，我想有中国朋友，我会说汉语。はじめまして、由美子です。中国の友達となりたいのでよろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, so maybe you can explain what's wrong with her Chinese that she said. Because she first speaks Chinese, then she speaks Japanese. Please go ahead.
So she's using this super patronizing, I hate this. You get this all the time in China with uneducated people. They'll speak to you in Chinese like a weird foreign baby or something. I think this is invented on Chinese TV. When they imitate foreigners trying to speak Chinese, they get rid of all the tones and they go like this. So she goes, 我是中国人，我会讲汉语. And you'll get people that say like, Ni hao, 外国人.
Yeah,
they
they
think
do that.
They think that makes it easier for you to understand. It's like
I've seen it with like people when they talk to non-native English speakers, like if they're talking to a Mexican person or something, they also dumb down.
Oh yeah, I hate when
absolutely hate when
people
do.
It
cringes the crap out of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
you know what I
hate
mean?
that so much. Anyway,
it's a thing.
She's doing this, but she's Chinese. So what she's doing is faking that she's not a native speaker by using the patronizing accent that no one has. No, even if you're bad at speaking Chinese, you don't speak like that. That's not how people speak, right?
Yeah. And then she speaks Japanese, and her Japanese is not native Japanese.
Yeah.
So it turns out that she's pretending to be Japanese in order to make friends in China.
Yeah.
Which is cringe.
So she thinks that if she pretends to be a Japanese person, she'll make friends with... I mean, it could be a scam. Could be to get dudes on the line to scam them.
I was reading some of the comments underneath, and people were just like giving her a lot of hell because like Japanese people were like, "You're not Japanese." Chinese people were like, "You suck. You're Chinese. Why are you trying to pretend?"
But there's a reason we brought.
Yeah, the reason we bring this up is that in China, Chinese men still absolutely idolize Japanese women. Like in a huge way.
Yeah.
So she obviously did this as a ploy to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Because if she pretended to be Japanese, she'd get a lot of friends. She'd get a lot of followers.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's probably because all the pornography in China is Japanese.
Yeah.
And so all the men...
It's illegal, by the way.
it's illegal.
The illegal porn in China is Japanese.
Yeah, because they can't make local pornography. So it's...
They do.
In the past they couldn't.
Yeah.
Firing squad time.
Yeah. Now it's still punished, but it's just the internet's so big.
Yeah, it's more easy for it to actually be done. But fact of the matter is, all the people of our age, our generation, they grew up watching Japanese pornography, so they absolutely love Japanese women. They have a lot of they idolize them. And you find out, like I said, with the products, people like to buy Japanese cars. They buy Japanese stuff. They actually they follow Japanese fashion. The kids read Japanese comics. Yeah. Obviously, all translated into Chinese. But what we're trying to say here is that it's this weird situation in China where they absolutely hate Japanese people because they're told and taught to hate Japanese people. A shop like Miniso has been operating for years, man. Like that must have opened at least 10 years ago.
Sure.
I was buying stuff from them back in the day.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah. At least 2015-ish, I remember buying stuff from them.
Yeah.
2013.
2013. Almost 10 years.
Yeah, so it's been around forever. Only suddenly now, because they have to hate Japanese people right now, now suddenly they have a backlash. Doesn't it seem stupid and weird?
Yes.
It's because the government's turning on that racism tap, that xenophobia tap, that hate the Japanese tap. That goes on for a while. They start to call anyone who likes Japanese stuff unpatriotic. You saw last time they arrested a woman for wearing a traditional Japanese outfit. Ridiculous, right? So right now it's just a very anti-Jap kind of Japanese vibe going on inside of China. But at the same time, most people still really respect Japanese things and culture. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird situation. So we just wanted to show that. So that might give a bit of context. And this poor cringe woman, why can't she just be herself?
はい。はじめまして、由美子です。中国の友達となりたいのでよろしくお願いいたします。
Yeah. Well,
it is what it is.
It gives context.
No,
So
it is good context.
That's everything for what's new. Now, guys, right now China is experiencing this incredible heat wave, and that's of course the main topic for today, which we'll be getting into shortly. But before we do, let's do a couple of super chats.
Sure.
We still didn't explain why our show got taken down.
It's in there. It's in Wumao Corner.
Oh, it's in Wumao Corner.
I was gonna talk about it later to show because I showed what happened.
Okay, so we'll stick around. You'll find out why our show was blocked globally.
Yes. Dude Bub says, excited for Revolutionary Fantasies. Give me a jaunty. We are excited for Revolutionary Fantasies, and guess what? We'll just bring it up. We'll bring it up anyway.
Great.
We'll show you later, but we'll talk about it now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
So what happened was I was fighting all weekend, literally I would have to run to my computer over and over again. I couldn't even go anywhere with my family because I had to make sure that the next copyright claim was taken care of. So what happened was I got hit with a copyright claim.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's from a Canadian company. It was not from a Canadian company, guys.
No.
If you just saw it in the back end, you'd understand. It's from a Chinese company.
A Chinese company.
There's a billion companies.
MZ Media was the main one.
There's a billion companies with that name. Anyway, what they were doing at first was like an automatic claim. It was saying like, we found copyright material, but it's fine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We just can't monetize. It's normal. We get that all the
right?
time. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're going to lose a good chunk of money from having no ads on there, but hey, at least people can see the video, right?
That's the most important
That's the most
thing.
important thing for us is make sure that the episode doesn't go down. Okay, we get rid of our monetization. That's going to suck long term, but at least you guys can see it.
Yeah.
So then manually, they started going in and finding every instance of revolutionary fantasies that we used.
Yes.
Right. So revolutionary fantasies, if you guys weren't here last week, is a new segment we put together where we look at some hilarious anti-Japanese war dramas that play all the time during Chinese daytime television or nighttime television.
I have to add to this that the ones that I use, because I put together that media pack, are from different production companies. They're completely different TV shows.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of these TV shows and thousands of these, things that go on TV all the time. So they weren't like, we didn't just use one person's video. We used from all over the place.
Yeah. So I was sitting there watching them claim piece after piece. So what I would do...
And tiny little clips,
clips.
Look, a 3-second, here's a 5-second thing here.
There was a plethora of them.
Yeah.
So what happened was they would claim a part, and I would use the YouTube trimming function, right?
Yeah, because you can trim it out.
But each time takes hours.
Yeah.
So I trim it, and then it would process and process and process. And during that processing time, people were slowly dropping off of the countries that they could see the video.
Yeah.
So I watched it go from like only Canada was blocked, and then Australia as well, then New Zealand, then Germany, then
UK,
all the EU, then UK. And I watched the entire world go black. The last one was the US.
Yeah.
Finally, that went dark. And what they were doing was appealing to YouTube in every single country that they could with copyright documents to say, well, at least saying they have copyright documents, to get our video removed. So it wasn't about taking our money anymore. Because what happens is, if you use someone else's material and they want to like claim it as their own, they can say, "Oh, this is mine," and then you have to dispute that. But what it does is everyone can still see it. They just take the money from it.
Yeah, they take all the money from the video, which is whatever. It's
Whatever. Like,
terrible.
we're willing to, like, you can do that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. But what they were doing was removing the video completely.
Yeah,
so this wasn't about money.
Making it so that it's not visible in certain countries. It's not even removing, because there is an option to get a video removed.
Yes.
They wanted to block it so no one could see it.
And the crazy thing about that is that they were willing to sacrifice any monetary gain because they're getting money from this.
Yeah, they won't get anything if it's blocked.
No, they were blocking it, period. And every time I would get rid of one, it would process. I'd be like, okay, it's visible now. This happened like 4 or 5 times in a row. People would go, oh, it's back up. Celebrate, right?
Yeah.
They'd find another one.
Then they'd find another clip.
Block throughout the world. And people would be like, oh, shit. It's blocked again.
So
I'd get rid of that one. I did that over and over again until finally every piece was removed because I wasn't allowed to do multiple ones at once.
Yeah, you had to do them one by one.
Finally, at the end, there was one more piece of claim media. It was like a song that was used in the Revolutionary Fantasy segment. So I get rid of that. And it undid all of those claims and brought all those clips back. So then it got removed worldwide. So I had to do it all over again. And finally, after I think 3 days of working on this, I got the video to come back up. So I want to say thank you for all the people that were patient about that. Streisand effect.
Oh, yeah, we've got that. That's...
Papa, can you see me?
Because what you did was give us more resolve to make sure that we can show something like this and we'll do it properly so you can't hit us anymore. But it's crazy to me, and you'll find out in Winston's video coming up soon, that the Chinese government is using private companies in China to go after us to get material removed in the form of blocking.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Look, it's very straightforward. This disgusting, cringe, hate-stoking propaganda crap that they play every day, this anti-Japanese war fantasy, revolutionary fantasy stuff that they play every day on Chinese media, it's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Okay? You saw some of it. If you were watching live last week, you know what we're talking about. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's stupid. It makes China look petty.
Yeah.
Not only petty, but also completely out of touch with reality. Okay? You can't throw a hand grenade up in the sky and blow up a fighter jet.
No.
Okay? You can't use kung fu to tear Japanese people apart, and like one peasant can't murder 600 Japanese soldiers or whatever with a stone, that kind of thing. It's so absolutely ridiculous that we feel that the Chinese government is so embarrassed about this, does not want the outside world seeing this. No joke. And so the only way that they could stop us from showing it to you guys was by going after us so heavily, trying to block the content so nobody could see it. So now, look, There are fair use laws on YouTube, which we're going to pursue in the future.
Yeah.
We're going to do it in such a way that it's completely transformative, and we are actually planning to fight this. We're going to find a way to fight this. And we're going to try all the different ways first. We're going to try and transform this stuff completely, and we've got a couple of ideas so that we can keep revolutionary fantasies going, because their goal is to stop us from showing you revolutionary fantasies.
They really don't want you to see revolutionary fantasies, which was just a comedy segment.
Yeah.
It's funny because Winston and I will go through things that we think is going to really trigger the Chinese government, and then they won't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll do something where we don't think it's going to have any effect, and they get furious. And that's one of those instances for some reason.
Yeah, so we're going to try and bring it back. And if it reaches the point where we have to actually legally fight this kind of stuff, we'll probably go and do that.
The law is on our side.
Yeah,
here
when
in
it
the
comes
US.
to fair
It's
use,
transformative.
yes, we're allowed to use that. Look, we can use clips from Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
We can't expect to make money off of our video if we use people's stuff. That's normal. But the videos can stay up.
Yeah.
As long as we meet certain guidelines, which, by the way, the Revolutionary Fantasies was meeting those guidelines.
Absolute, like well within the boundary of transformative media.
They're just taking advantage of the fact that most people don't want to go this whole like court case route or whatever.
Yeah, and we want you guys to be able to see the episode. So
Yeah.
I ended up removing it. But in the future we're gonna go fight this.
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of tests. We might actually do like a completely separate small stream on the channel
Sure.
just with that and see how
try
it gets attacked and see what we can do to counter
Yeah.
those attacks so it doesn't interfere with the main show. Once we've figured it all out, we're going to bring it back in because we do want that to be a part of the show.
Yeah, actually what the Chinese government showed me in my wasting my whole weekend was that they really don't want people to see that, which means it's great stuff.
Yeah.
It means it's like good content. So we're gonna keep going.
Honestly, if they don't want people to see revolutionary
And
fantasies,
it's good.
people have to see revolutionary fantasies.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, quick question. Are we heading straight into Soft Power Hour, or are we going to tell people about Shaban Ho?
Oh, well, we can do that after Shaban Ho. No, let's just do the Shaban Ho thing.
Okay. All right, everyone. Quick one. For those of you who don't know about Shaban Ho, it is our little weekly show. I'm going to show you a quick segment so you can see what we're talking about.
None of this is safe to eat. You will die. Oh.
It's rubbish. Having a snack attack.
Tiger penis is a penis. Is going to make your penis better. Tastes like something you shouldn't put in your mouth.
Warning, this product is not appropriately edible for elders and children.
And you know how the tiger penis thing took off? Usually, I guess you'd suck on it. But we don't have time for that.
Looks like just looks like... I'm not a snob,
Yeah.
but this is cheap.
It's really low class.
Taste the poverty. I used to eat it a lot.
No, for sure. But it's low class.
I'm going to get pimples. Kind of tastes a bit watery. It's like an infusion
Steep, or
infusion of your grandma's herb garden.
Too sweet to be like offensive to me.
You know, everything in China, when you try to download from the Chinese internet, is in shit 80p.
Because these are from mainland China chemical factories.
Yeah.
You wouldn't feed this to your child. Yeah, mine tastes like pure chemicals.
Yeah, when you open a cat food tin,
Yeah.
that's exactly what this smells like.
Probably carp skin. Like, we can handle it because we've already killed ourselves.
Most people probably be put off by that, but they taste like rubber.
And they're prepping them in the bathroom.
Dude, Guodong jellies can just piss off. I'm not a huge fan.
This is called Lonely God.
I like it probably because it doesn't come from mainland China. Blah, it's freaking potato.
Every time you bite into it, it's like a greasy oil spill.
Hey, sucker, you need something repaired? For those of you who don't know, Shaban Ho is our weekly sort of patron exclusive show.
Yeah.
So that's what you would have missed on Monday. We did a snack taste testing, Chinese snacks that we imported.
Most popular snacks that we imported from China. But you didn't miss it because you can still go see it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if ever down the line you decide you want to join the Shaban Ho Monday shows, you can go join it on our Patreon. Very easy. Patreon.com/ADVPodcasts. And all of the previous shows are up there for you to watch.
Yeah.
And of course, then you'll be a part of all the shows going forward.
Yeah, so you won't miss it. If you sign up today, you won't not be able to see everything. Everything from episode 1's still up.
Yeah.
So go check it out.
Let's move into our Soft Power Hour. This is where we talk about how China's trying to change your mind through various ways, specifically the media and interference and so on and so forth. So the first thing we're going to bring up is, of course, over here, if I can get it up there, the BBC News, Zhongwen. And why are we showing BBC News Zhongwen?
We are because they got some decent footage of the current drought, which is actually pretty hard to get because there's almost no foreign journalists left in China.
Yeah, and
so
this
is
also
some better
shows
stuff.
you that we can show a clip from BBC News, and they're not going to try and block our show from being seen all around the world because they're not insecure.
Yes. So we're going to cover this whole drought situation where China's running out of water. And the reason we're going to do this is I want to show you the coverage here, but then I want to compare it to what we found. The value-added service that you're going to get from our show is that we're going to show you what we found on the Chinese side of things.
You're not just going to see what's been in the news in the West.
No. But first, let's cover this. So, massive drought in China, okay? You guys might have heard of the Yangtze River, you know. The Yangtze River goes through southwestern China. It powers massive, massive hydroelectric plants.
Yes.
And the reason that's important is that people get tons of electricity and power running huge factories and things like this from hydroelectricity.
Yes.
Now, when you have record heat, I mean, we're talking 113 degrees in Chongqing.
How's that in normal Celsius?
Let me see. Normal Celsius.
I mean, you know, for those who don't use Fahrenheit.
45.
45.
By the way, for all of you haters of Fahrenheit, because I'm a metric guy, I like metric, but I will say Fahrenheit's better than Celsius, and I'll tell you why. If you look at it on a scale from 0 to 100, 0 is cold, right? And 100 is super hot. That's just a 0 to 100, right? So if it's 70, it's warm, right?
Sure.
It's 70% warm. If it's 50, it's 50% warm.
Yeah, from that point of view,
If
it
it's
makes
10,
sense.
it's 10 out of 100, right? 10% warm, so it's cold, right?
Right.
Whereas Celsius is just kind of all over the place, but I understand both.
Yeah.
45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's hugely hot, and it's record temperatures.
Yeah, actually, it's the hottest it's ever been in some areas of China in
Outside of
recorded
Xinjiang.
history.
Yeah.
In recorded history. Now, something that I've been reading up on the Chinese internet is that people have been complaining that their apps and even the weather stations in the different cities are not reporting anything higher than 39 degrees.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, because in Chinese law, if it's over 39
I
degrees,
think it's 39, right?
is it 39 or
38
40?
39, I can't remember.
Whatever.
It's around there.
Over that, then people don't need to go to work, don't need to go to school, that type of
Yes.
thing. So they artificially bring it down so it doesn't stop people from working and going to school.
Yes.
So it's crazy because a lot of people use third-party things, like their Apple phone will tell them that it's like 43 or 47 or whatever, but the local, weather bureau is telling them it's only like 38.
Yeah, so I actually learned about this before I moved to China. I was reading this blog of this foreigner that was living in China. I found it fascinating because no one was there. Right? It was before me and you went there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was
I
like
went
03 or something. And he was writing this blog, and he was living in Zhengzhou. And there were so many days that were over 38 or whatever it was supposed to be. And they were like, still had to go to work. And everyone was like, this is bullshit. Because they had like thermometers showing it.
Yeah.
And then the news would be like, today is a balmy 38 degrees. Tomorrow will be 38 degrees. Next day, 38 degrees.
Yeah.
Just so they didn't have to go skip work. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you cannot rely on the official figures coming out of China, even the weather figures.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. But it's
For all of
super
you,
hot.
For all of you people that think that China is a socialist utopia, they just lie.
No, for sure. By the way, before we continue, this picture in the background of us is a statue. There's a Buddhist statue. In fact, there are 3 there, cut into rock, alcoves, and they are estimated to be about 600 years old. And this is the first time they've been uncovered in probably centuries because the water's never been this low.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And again, we mentioned this briefly last week, but these statues would not be around. They would not exist if they weren't covered in water.
They would have been destroyed.
Because Mao Zedong and his crazy red guard were going around smashing every single Buddhist statue and every piece of culture and history.
Yeah.
And if the communists knew that there were statues down in that river, they would have actually learned how to swim so that they could go down there and break it.
Yes.
They probably would have lost many lives in the process, but they would have destroyed them.
That's
because
true.
culture was the enemy.
That's true.
The 4 olds and all that nonsense.
4 olds.
So, yeah, just so you know, it's good that some part of Chinese history was protected by nature.
Yeah, and it will probably be protected now, by the way, because they'll be able to turn it into an AAA, triple.
Well, I mean, the water's going to go up again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
But they'll probably build a dam so it doesn't go that high anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue through the footage while we talk about this. So you have areas in southwestern China that are experiencing massive, huge problems, and the river's going down. It's uncovering huge areas, and the biggest issue is actually for one of the biggest issues for transport. There's huge ports along this river that are really important. It's a huge river, right?
Yeah.
So you have these ships that are not able to actually bring goods through these ports
Yeah.
because the water level has dropped so much.
It's crazy. No one's ever seen it drop this low.
No, it's insane. So that's obviously a huge issue. It's obviously a huge issue, and this is a problem culturally as well.
Yes.
Why is that? That's because people are, again, I mean, they've tried to block this a million times, but people are still bringing up this famous quote, the mandate of heaven.
Yes.
What is that?
Mandate of heaven it goes back to ancient times with the emperors, and basically you have an emperor that's ruling, and it was like a sign from the gods. If there was a big calamity, a big natural disaster, it means that the emperor had to step down.
Yeah.
Okay, and needed to change. The regime would have to change. So every time there's a big natural disaster in China, the sort of superstitious older people, you know, they think, okay, mandate of heaven, that means that the emperor needs to change. In other words, the Communist Party of China needs to change. And that's why the Communist Party of China is so terrified of these natural disasters and play them down big time.
Yes.
Every single time something terrible like a big earthquake or something happens, they really play it down to make sure that people don't think it's the mandate of heaven.
That's correct. And the mandate of heaven is important. Unfortunately, China blocks all discussion of mandate of heaven, but it still goes around like local circles and stuff. People are still sitting around their mahjong table talking about it.
Now, here's the interesting thing. You see all of this look, people are like popping corners, just popping. You see this, I don't know about that whole steam rising out of the street thing.
I'm literally just sharing stuff that is going around Chinese social media.
This picture is incredible. You can see how low the water is. And, you know,
this is Chongqing.
Yeah, boats can't move.
The headquarters of absolute scum.
Yes.
By the way, not Chinese people, the scum foreigners.
Oh, all the scummy shill foreigners, they all go to Chongqing, and that's where they get their intelligence from. It's all run from there. They all go do their shill stuff.
We found that out.
Yeah, at the behest of the Chongqing propaganda department and things like that.
Yep.
Anyway, listen, this is having massive problems because not only, like you say, it's stopping goods and all that, but the hydroelectric power plants around the place, they rely on this water in order to generate electricity. And it's not generating much electricity right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like South Africa. They're having like rolling blackouts.
Yes.
You know, which is called load shedding.
Yeah, they are doing load shedding right now in Chengdu and in Chongqing and every surrounding area.
Tons of places. Now this is quite devastating if you've never experienced it. If you're not from a third world country or a developing country, you probably haven't had this problem in your life before. But imagine the government kind of just randomly selects your area's power to be switched off, like just switched off for say 4 hours. And then later on gets turned on again, and then after a couple hours it gets turned off again. So you basically get rationed power.
Yeah.
Now, if it's in a properly organized country, they will usually give you a heads up and say, listen, we're going to turn your power off at this time in this place. But in places like South Africa, quite often it just goes off. They don't tell anyone.
That's right.
So you have to be prepared. Everyone needs to have generators and these days solar power and stuff to try and help them out, but it still doesn't help. Like, it's devastating. If you have a restaurant, all your fridges stop working, all your food spoils. If you're like my parents run a fish breeding business, all the oxygenators and all the water pumps stop working, so all the fish die. You know, it's a terrible thing that happens. And so you can imagine, especially in this heat, okay, when they turn off the power, you can't run your air conditioning.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So people are experiencing these blackouts, but they've also cut industrial power, which is very important.
That's right.
So they've been doing rolling blackouts not only for residents, because of course they're going to hit the residents. They don't care about residents, but they're hitting these industrial factories and a lot of automotive production, right?
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah.
Cars being built. Now they're not being built.
Yep.
It's pretty devastating what's going on with the power. And of course, food security. You know, if you don't have water, you can't grow food.
Yeah.
A lot of problems because of this.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing about all this,
there's some of the ships that can't get through.
yeah, they can't, the barges and stuff are stuck. See, they're turning off things like, if you've ever been to a Chinese city, everywhere you go in the sort of downtown areas, you see these massive billboards always showing advertisements, LED signs, that kind of thing.
Milk.
They're shutting those down because they're using too much power, you know. I guess you got to watch out for fires. This is a fantastic picture that shows the power is off everywhere in the city except for the one building where they've got the Communist Party symbol up there. Shows the priorities, right?
It's so dystopian.
That power could be, I don't know, powering homes, let's just say.
Yeah.
Let's just rather spend all that electricity to power the party sign.
To me, it's kind of like embarrassing because it's like the party couldn't provide electricity for you, but we could provide it for ourselves.
Yeah, for our like advertising.
That's kind of the opposite kind of image you want to give off.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a socialist workers' paradise.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, here's the thing. Okay.
Yeah, so-
you're gonna take this away, but before we get into it, remember this whole mandate of heaven. Now you can't stop news of the drought getting around in China because
No.
people are seeing it, people are sharing it, people
They're
are taking
allowing a
photos.
certain amount.
Yeah, but they're playing it the hell down.
Yes.
They're playing it down like it's just a normal thing, nothing to worry about here. And guess what they're using as an excuse for this drought? Go ahead.
America. Now, this I found fascinating. I
Yeah.
was going around the Chinese internet, and the reason is I was talking to some people in China, asking them about this, right?
Yeah.
I say, yeah, massive issues, power's going off, all this kind of stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, interesting. And they tried to share with me some WeChat articles, right? And the WeChat articles, I always have issues opening that stuff.
Yeah, it's
right?
always like blocks you and
Yeah.
things.
So I go on Baidu and I start looking at Chinese news. And I start looking up the drought, right? And I do see inklings of news about the drought, right? But you know what I'm inundated with was news story after news story about the drought in the US. And I'm talking about like news stories that came out a couple hours ago. You know, like bam, 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 all over the place. America is suffering drought. They're going to run out of food production. The water's dried up. People are suffering, right? And it's everywhere. It's such projection.
Yes.
I have never, we do
it's
have some. And I just wanted to go through some of the headlines I found. It says, drought leads to deserted farms in California. Who will pay the soaring agricultural costs? And it goes into how, it's a never seen before drought. And like farmers can't handle it.
Living in America, I can say that this is the first time I'm hearing about the droughts here.
I mean, we have
Of course.
droughts, yeah.
Dude, yeah, there are droughts.
Yeah.
And it happens often.
Yeah.
You know, but there are a lot of systems in place.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
You know, in order to prepare for that.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that, like you say, the majority of the news articles that you're seeing on Chinese media right now are focusing on American droughts,
Yeah.
where actually China is now facing the most severe drought they've ever faced.
So imagine you hear about this, and this is the idea. You hear, play another one.
Yeah.
You turn on the news and you're like, I want to see what's going on in Chongqing, right? I heard about these droughts. Maybe you live in Beijing or something, right?
Yeah.
And you turn it on and you go on the internet and all you see is your face with this stuff. And then you start to feel, oh, well, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
it's
just worldwide. Yeah, it's
China's
not a
right?
problem here. It's just happening everywhere. Yeah, that's the idea, right?
Yeah, this was a popular one that was getting reposted everywhere. As drought in Texas Park causes rivers to dry up, and dinosaur footprints 113 million years old are rediscovered. So this is throwing a little interesting spin on it, right? Just like the uncovered statues.
Yeah, the statue
you
was
saw,
found, right? They're like, our statue is only 600 years old. This is like 1 point something million. So
Sure.
it must be worse there.
Right. Colorado River suffers 23rd year of drought. Vegetables, milk, wheat, electricity may all be affected. Again, and they showed this comparison photo like New York Times did. By the way, the New York Times link for those amazing photos is in our description. But
Yes.
this is showing the Colorado River now. And again, 23rd year of drought. Looks like this is a continuous problem. Not saying it isn't a problem. We have massive drought problems here in the U.S. But it's deflecting away from the current drought
See,
in
they're
China.
talking about, oh no, vegetables, milk, wheat, electricity may all be affected.
Yeah.
May all
May,
be affected. In China, is all affected.
Right.
So you see, they're taking the same problems that China's facing right now, or the real, very real problems that China's facing right now, and then trying to say it's okay because in America they might be facing this kind of thing too.
Yeah, I didn't see. This is copium of note.
Of course.
This is something I haven't seen other people cover in media. They're talking about the Chinese drought and all this kind of stuff, and it's great, like good coverage and stuff. And then you can find news about the drought in America and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anyone cover from the angle of let's look at what China's reporting. And China's reporting that America is literally on the brink of collapse because of a drought, while it itself is going through a massive drought.
Yes, that's what they do.
It's nature, but they still have to deflect from nature. And we got
It's
more.
just again. Sorry, you got more.
you're right.
Let's take a look.
Drought in the United States has caused a sharp decrease in the amount of grass, and ranchers have reluctantly sold cattle to the slaughterhouses. The number of cattle has decreased by 750,000 in a year and a half. And you see this is all within the past few days. This is from yesterday, because the news has been so hot from China, no pun intended, about the drought, right? And it's funny because you don't see the New York Times downplaying the drought in Western America over there.
Also, look at this. They say in a year and a half. So over the span of a year and a half, they've done this amount. What's happening in China has literally happened in like the span of a month.
Yeah.
It's very recent.
Yeah.
It's not like a long-term thing. Oh, yeah, this drought. It's now just suddenly, bam. It's like nothing and then serious drought.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Nothing and then, oh no, we're going to have to start doing rolling blackouts. Nothing
Yes.
and then, oh no, we've got a big problem.
Right.
But they're talking about America as if it's like, oh my God, this has just hit America.
Yes.
It's so bad. They've just had to. All of these articles are like the 23-year drought of the Colorado River. Do you think that hasn't been taken care of or noticed or,
Right.
people aren't
What a
being
shock.
addressing it?
Shocking.
Shocking. 23 years of this,
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's
Everyone's
new.
electricity has been turned off. And now I can go to, by the way, I can go still see the great monument to George Washington that's lit up.
Yeah, exactly.
But everyone else has to suffer a rolling blackouts.
It's ridiculous because what they're doing is they're trying to, again, just use whataboutism and be like, oh,
it's
yeah,
deflection, really.
we might have like some severe issues here, but guess what? America, they've had to sell a lot of cattle over the last year and a half. Ooh, better watch out for that.
Yeah, I have a comment here. Curtis Smith says, Colorado River runs through the Southwest, desert and mountains. What's China's excuse?
True.
Yeah.
True. In China, they've been doing all this stuff. They really do like to try and manipulate nature.
It's a Mao thing, actually, if you don't
Yeah.
mind. I want to say,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mao came up with this. It was one of Mao Zedong's thoughts, one of his many thoughts.
Yeah.
Was that man must overcome nature.
Yeah.
And there's a proverb that says this man, he's walking to work, he has to go around this mountain every day. So instead of having to go the long way around the mountain, the man spends his entire life moving the mountain so he can have a direct path. So he wastes his entire life doing that. But to Mao, that was that's like a good adage to learn, that it's better use of your time to manipulate nature and find the direct course through nature. And I think, honestly, you'd agree with me, nature's fighting back now.
A little bit, yeah. The problem is that during this whole mess that was the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward and Great Leap Backwards and devolution, all that stuff, they built a lot of dams. Remember, Mao Zedong was all about building dams and making...
and swimming.
Yes.
Floating.
Not more like bloat floating. You know what I mean?
Bloating.
Yeah, bloating. Seriously though, and they cut these ridiculous canals, wasted huge amounts of manpower and resources making these stupid, for no purpose by the way, these stupid canals and dams and stuff which are not used, never were used, were just a show of, hey, we can do it,
Yeah.
But they diverted rivers and stuff which messed up nature in a big way in China, like massively.
You're right.
And all these stupid dams that they try to build and so on really just mucked everything up.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
And now what they're trying to do, of course, is they're trying to seed the clouds. They shoot missiles up into the clouds, to try and force it to rain and so on and so forth. And whatever, it's not working very well.
Now they're just hot dams.
Yeah, hot dams, yeah. It's true, they're just hot dams. Do you have any more of these articles?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, there was tons. I just I didn't want to spend all day showing you guys these things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, so do you want to hit a couple of super chats before we go into our Wumao corner?
Dude Bub says, Ultima Spark says, the news from the Solomon Islands banning disrespectful journalists trying to delay elections shows that Sogavare is really trying to impress Daddy Xi. Yeah, Solomon Islands, what a quick sale that was.
Yeah. At least it's not the...
Port of Dandong.
They're gonna put some sort of port. In
it'll be
Solomon Islands.
the port of Solomon Islands.
Yeah, something like that.
Shipping hub.
Yeah, for sure. Shan Nguyen says, do you guys know any Chinese card games? I really like Big Two, Chinese poker. Oh, a little bit, yeah. I know Slap.
Yeah, slap, yeah.
Slap is when you slap a card down as hard as you can.
There's a problem with all these games that I learned in China. The ones I learned were always drinking games.
Yeah.
So you learn the rules, but because you get so horrendously drunk, you end up
right?
forgetting them.
I know.
But especially the dice game.
Dice
Schleizel,
I remember well.
Yeah.
Shione says, I love your content, much appreciated.
Thank you.
Artyom Kozlo says, hello, Simokalo Winston. You've seen Germany now stands with Taiwan officially? Well, not officially.
Step in the right direction.
A step in the right direction, yeah, for sure. You're headed in that way, right?
Yeah.
Crabman, I saw some news articles this week covering the kimono incident. You guys are spreading the word. Keep it up. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Dmitry Cernagusov says, I wonder how the CCP would solve the trolley problem.
What trolley problem?
Don't know. Straka.
Oh, I think that's that one where you choose who to run over or something.
Oh, yeah. It's like that psychological
They
problem.
would absolutely choose to kill as many people as possible.
For sure. Strunka, the VR feline, says, love this podcast. Stay persistent, stay awesome, and stay hydrated.
Thank
You better
you.
believe it. With that bottle, not a chance he's going to go not
Yes.
dehydrated for sure.
Yep. It's even got spring-loaded action, you know?
You know-
See this? The straw pops in and out. It's really cool.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of like, what do cats like to drink?
Oh, cats.
Now, would you like me to be the cat?
That cat likes to drink communism.
He does.
And
he
socialism.
Does. He likes to drink something else too.
Yeah.
Ava, you guys should
Yes.
watch the video of that girl who couldn't look at minions without raging and destroying them. That sounds like me.
Yeah.
Koala 1203, CCP Culling of Pets. Guess which shill loves to shoe them and is not happy about
Oh,
it?
yeah.
He's not happy. Do you think he'd be happy about that?
No.
You'd probably run out of clients if you
If you what?
cull all the pets.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You would. Yeah.
So that's maybe why he got kicked out of China.
Yeah. But yeah, he does love Clam-Man. He loves himself.
He does. Tatsuji.
Yeah.
Old-
Why war?
That's a story for another time.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe
story for
Shaban Ho time.
yeah. Shaban Ho's story, I think.
Should we do a Shaban Ho about the worst foreigners we met in China?
That's a good idea.
Let's do it. I'm gonna write it down real
yeah,
quick.
please
You
do.
guys, can you run the patron thing?
Oh, sure, yeah. Don't forget, guys, if you want to join us for Shaban Ho, patreon.com/ADV podcast to join the Shaban Ho tier. And hopefully we'll see you on Monday for our
Worst
Shaban
foreigners in
Ho
China.
show. Yeah, we'll do. Worst foreigners we've
Definitely.
ever met in China. We got some good stories there.
Absolutely.
Good stories, yeah.
Cool.
Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so now we're going to do Wumao Corner, everybody, where we talk about the haters, all the nonsense they get up to.
Or
and-
just trolling in general.
Yeah, and in this particular instance, we're talking about our show being taken down, which we already spoke about.
Yeah,
So
you can just show that.
we're
picture.
just
I
going to
want you
gloss
guys
through
know
it.
that we've made no money off the past two shows.
Yeah.
just as proof, so you guys know this. This happens often.
You know, and at the end of the day, that's not why we do this. It's not about the money. It obviously helps keep the lights on, helps
Sure.
keep us going. But we've got our patrons and we've got people
Yes.
supporting us. And so we can take the hit. And that's because of your support, we can
Yes.
take the hit.
Yeah, I just want people to be aware this is not a normal show. We tend to get hit unnaturally.
By the way, you know when it says limited, that
means
means none.
Yeah,
It just
why,
means,
why did he say that?
I don't know.
Because it's not limited. You make $0.
Yeah. When you see the yellow and it says limited, it means all of the money made off of that show is going to go to whichever copyright claimant has claimed your clip.
Or none, if it's just deemed inappropriate. Just none.
Yeah, just none. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway.
So we told you already all about that nonsense. We are going to try find our way around it because we think it's a worthwhile addition to the show and it helps people understand. Okay, and here we have our Chinese government official, Zhang Meifang.
She is one of the premier Twitter wolf warriors.
Dude, did you see the other day she posted a picture? She said, traditional Xinjiang woman in traditional Xinjiang
was
clothing.
it the Pakistani woman or
It was
something?
an Indian
was
woman
it an
wearing
Indian
a
woman?
sari and a traditional Indian clothing. She deleted that tweet very quickly. Yeah.
No,
It's
really?
ridiculous, yeah.
See, I must be thinking of something else because someone was telling me Zhang Meifang was posting something about Pakistan.
No, she said...
Might be a double entendre.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. So anyway, she's not very bright.
Sure.
But this is...
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so let's read what she said. She says, the history of American aggression is a snapshot. And this does not even include proxy wars, regime changes, and other acts that destabilize regions, nations, and peoples. Begs the question, will a nation that romances war ever know peace or allow it? Hashtag US, hashtag war. So this is, she now gives an example of American aggression, so American wars of aggression. The first one is the American Revolution.
The American War of Aggression was when America got its independence from the UK.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how aggression works.
Nope.
No.
I mean, let's just,
Wrong.
we'll gloss over a couple of these, okay? War of 1812. What is the War of
That's with
1812?
Canada.
Oh, you,
Canadian border stuff. Yeah.
so that was a war of aggression. You're like,
Suppose, yeah.
we want your moose and your maple syrup.
There's a lot more to it. But
Okay.
anyway.
The Mexican-American War?
Sure, you could throw that in
you could
there.
say that's an aggression. How about the Civil War?
The Civil War?
So
So
the-
the Chinese Civil War is a war of aggression then?
Must be.
Yeah, it must be. Civil War.
I like how like an internal war in a country is suddenly a war of aggression.
So, you know what that would mean? it means that if it was a war of aggression, it means you're cheering on the belligerent that lost.
Yes.
Right? You're cheering on the South. So cheers for slavery from Zhang Meifang, because she is cheering on the loser of the Civil War because they're poor. They're being aggressed upon.
My favorite one here is, okay, World War One, whatever. America really, they went to Germany and they were like, screw you, we're gonna invade.
Right.
Okay, but World War II, where America tried their best to like stay out of it.
This is Zhang Meifang going, praise Hirohito because those bastard Americans invaded Japan and nuked Japan. Right?
So this was the war of aggression that America really took part in. They went out there.
So the war against Japan, right, in World War II, when America saved China from future invasion of Japan and put an end to the Japanese occupation of China.
Yeah.
With atomic bombs in Japan is a war of aggression.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Their mortal enemy. America saving and helping China from their mortal enemy is a war of aggression.
Yeah, so, the Japanese just came and bombed Pearl Harbor and stuff because you'd already invaded them. That's the problem. You guys went over there and you were like, screw the Japanese. Yeah. It doesn't even mention Germany. They show a Japanese flag there. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. That was actually a really stupid thing for them to do.
Yeah. And then the Korean War, Vietnam War, sure. Yeah, that's kind of an aggression.
Whatever.
thing.
I'm just saying, like, the good chunk of these.
But yeah, she doesn't know what a war of aggression is what we're trying to say here.
Well, we did forget a key aspect here, is that China was actually the one that defeated Japan in World War II by throwing single grenades up into planes that went by.
Yeah.
Right.
And doing all sorts of kung fu.
And throwing boulders.
Yeah. And being peasants that know kung fu.
Right.
That always trick the guard.
That's where I was wrong.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Spit needles into people's eyes.
Yes.
So that's Wu Mao Corner, I guess. So we can move. Do you want to move into worldview? Or
just go for it.
We're going to go straight into worldview where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China.
Views.
Yeah. This is a good one. Oh, I can't wait. Please explain what's going on here.
Yeah, so the U.S. Department of State, I was surprised to see this. This was really good. Put a really, really concise thing together. It's in the description if you want to check it out. It's the PRC's efforts to manipulate global public opinion on Xinjiang. And this is something the state hasn't talked about a whole lot, which is great. And it goes through all the ways that the shills and the bot accounts and the Chinese government has used to change people's mind that there's no genocide in Xinjiang. And it comes at a perfect time. I just saw some very horrific pieces coming out of some very big voices that are clearly co-opted by the Chinese government. And then right afterwards, the State Department throws this out there, and it's fantastic because it illustrates exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was actually, a lot of people reached out to us about certain names. We'll talk about them at some point. We're putting something together.
Sure.
That have been co-opted by the Chinese government, and they're voices that are not like the normal shills,
well,
like white monkey shills.
Usually the people that are defending the CCP are left-leaning.
Yes.
At least traditionally, but now a lot of right-leaning people are trying to say, oh, the Uyghur genocide isn't true.
Right.
And they're getting these ridiculous tankies on. Yeah. These very well-known
It's a weird conglomeration of pro-authoritarian left and right coming together and being pro-China.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with this Uyghur stuff.
Yes, this is a fascinating read.
Yeah.
We suggest everybody go and take a look at it. Like you said, the link is in the description, right?
Yes.
And this is absolutely true. Because we've experienced and we know all of this stuff that's going on. This has always been something we've been fighting against, Yeah. So, fantastic. Well done, U.S. Department of State. Taking some of my tax money and using it for the right stuff for once.
Nice. Some people are name dropping the person we're referring to. They figured it out. It was big. It was a big post.
Well, we could just say it. We got reached out by 1 billion people saying, oh, Kim Iverson has interviewed this crazy guy or something, and
we saw who that crazy guy was. Holy shit!
No, we know who it is.
What?
We know who he is very well.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys have picked at a scab that goes very deep, and I'm telling you right now, there is some bad shit going on, and it's probably affecting some people that you might watch.
Yeah,
both right and left.
100% co-opted by the CCP.
Yeah,
100% part of the Chinese propaganda. What you watched there,
it's wild.
It is, now, like we said before, the Communist Party's propaganda has not only infiltrated left-wing stuff, it's infiltrated right-wing stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, for people to escape it because it doesn't matter what your leaning is, you're still going to run into it.
Yes. Now, before people think we're attributing all this stuff to this poor guy on Twitter, this guy is awesome for posting this. This is Worldview, right?
Yes.
So what happened here?
This is funny.
Yeah.
A mate of mine, actually, good friend of mine from the UK, sent me a link to this, and he was like, "Have you seen this?" Because this is the kind of thing we'd run into. I remember
this happened to me before.
Back in the day when USB thumbsticks first came out. Remember, they were always tiny. Like you get like a 32 meg or whatever. It'd be tiny, okay? And then they started to get bigger. But then in like the fake markets in Shenzhen, you could buy these outlandishly big ones.
Yes.
Okay, which were not possible because I think at the time. Something like a 128 gig was this even before that. So probably 32 gig was the biggest you could get. But then there'd be people selling 200 gigs. You're like, what is this? But what they would do is they would just be very clever and they'd rewrite the firmware on the actual SD cards.
Yes.
And on the inside to trick your computer into thinking it was bigger. But if you tried to write anything to it above like 32 megs or whatever, it would corrupt.
Yes.
Because it's not real.
Yes.
Now, this guy ordered something, this ridiculous 30 terabyte SSD.
I wish.
Yeah.
That would be great for editing.
So he said, have you ever heard the expression, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is? Well, AliExpress is currently advertising a 30 terabyte SSD for $29. And I just had one delivered. Let's open it up, shall we? So
I loved what he put together here. It's like a timeline of him opening this up and figuring it out.
Yeah.
By the way, for you guys that don't know storage, 30 terabytes is outlandishly big.
Yes.
I mean, you would, for an SSD, that's the fast kind of hard drive, right? Non-mechanical hard drive. I think you can go up to now maybe 4 to 8 or something, but that would be incredibly expensive.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So he uses a razor blade to open it up, because it doesn't have screws.
You got this on AliExpress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside, it's like a little PCB all glued together with micro SD cards kind of mounted in there with hot glue and stuff like that. It's hilarious, yeah. But Windows does report that it has two 15 terabyte drives, which is, outlandish.
So
it's
you're
ridiculous.
like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It says it can test half the capacity in 250 days. Do we have the time? Because it's so slow. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just funny to see what you can actually buy because this absolutely is not a real thing. You cannot use it. It's not 30 terabytes. Everything will corrupt. It's slow. It's useless.
It's interesting that they wrote code to trick Windows into misreporting the size.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's extra effort.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, you can buy them at Walmart. Well, on Walmart's website now.
Which is... Think about that. Walmart, one of Walmart's websites, apparently, and this is not according to us, is selling these hard drives, these fake hacked hard drives.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
And we did, to be fair, on the Walmart's website, we did buy fake Chinese masks.
Yeah, but they've changed their business model now. It's more of a drop ship type thing where, you buy something, but it's just you're actually buying it from another supplier.
Right.
Be careful, guys. Don't buy these ridiculous large capacity things off of, any kind of website. Doesn't matter if it's Amazon or whatever. You just don't do it, Nope. So, is this for Yamcha or are we showing stuff for Yamcha? Okay, good. Right, so I guess that's pretty much it for Worldview. We're going to move straight into our Q&A, guys. So here we go. It's Yamcha time. This is where we relax, have a chat, talk about whatever... and answer your questions and super chats, get to loosen the tie. And for those of you who don't know how this works, on Monday we cut this out of the show. Otherwise the, stream's too long. Nobody wants to click on a 3-hour stream, right? Yeah. So you can watch it now live. You can watch it over the weekend. But if you don't catch it and we cut it out, you can always watch it if you're a patron of ours. Doesn't matter what tier. It'll always be there every Monday. If you go to this, patreon.com/ADVPodcasts. Yeah, so fantastic. Let's chill out and let's answer some questions. And for those of you who are not sticking around, you know the drill. As always, we'll see you next week sometime. Mm-hmm. Stay awesome.
Why don't you put on the pictures I found?
Oh, these pictures?
Jüri sighting.
Daruchi.
This is we have someone in lovely northern China sending us some Daruchi setting. It's nice to know we got some people in the mainland still checking stuff out for us. Here we go. Daruchi sighting in a mall. And the reason this one is important is go to the next picture.
Okay, it's coming.
This is probably the best sighting we found so far. And that is because they have the bronze statue.
But they actually put clothes on
it's
it.
clothes on. I've never seen the clothes.